beat, and they typically always play good. Hellraisers, I mean, I'm going to take my pick, but I think Problem has been a really good look for them. Although his name contradicts what I'm saying, I think he's been playing really well and fitting nicely into this Hellraisers roster, which honestly, I don't even think they're going to be done shaping the final look of this team. I think there's going to be still some room to grow and room to change. But we're in a pistol script. Shout out to Loop Bet, our betting partner, and look at those live odds. Yeah, that's definitely in favor of the youngsters by quite a bit.
Absolutely. Hobbit taking this first face here. Pretty damn aggressive from him. Not able to find anything just yet, but they are playing very confidently here on the Gambit youngsters side. Taking those early fights. Nothing quite landing. Bits of damage here and there. Looks like the first frag about to come in, though, and it goes in favor of Shiro. Meanwhile, the rest of the T side wrapping towards the B bomb site. They are 2 men down early, though, and just so long as they can stay alive, that second frag from Problem is absolutely huge. Might just make the difference here. JR's got a great spot. Will be checked out by Hobbit. Hobbit, though, struggling to find the frag. Leaves him on 1 HP. Waits on his teammate from the side. They will eventually find it. Meanwhile, the T side pushing forwards here. We have a lot of different events and storylines going on in this round. Flarich to take down Shiro. The control regained on the stairs. And now the hard part comes in for the CT side. Checking all their angles. Again, struggling to win out the fights. Flarich to find the head of Nafany. That's massive. Hobbit, meanwhile, on this Glock. Can't find anything else. Problem will drop him up close. And Hellraisers pull that pistol back from the brink.
I thought they were in some trouble. I'm not going to lie. After that, ramp control was hard fought. I mean, those 2 kills from Problem is confidence. Seems like I made the right pick in the right player. Gambit youngsters unable to find that one. That's the start they needed. I mean, Gambit Hellraisers only win 44% of pistols, so coming out in a best of 1 to win the first on the favorable side is needed. They'll break out a couple AKs, of course. The typical purchase here, while Gambit youngsters, the force buy. I guess some nades, some pistols, and Shiro's just biding his time, waiting for the right moment to strike. Hidden behind the brick, so if someone tried to spam that, it wouldn't hit him right away. And Hellraisers just taking their sweet time, Scriv, as they should, right? You don't want to jump into anything. You don't want to race into a site without gathering that information, without letting the MAC-10s work. So pretty much part of the course as we're looking at right now. This player up towards short, though, could be a little bit of a wrench in the works.
Yeah, they definitely have to be careful. The individual prowess of Gambit youngsters cannot be underestimated. Oh, the Deagle's spamming away. JR going to come in and help out, but he's left on 1 HP. Certainly got to be careful here on the T end. Axile, sandbags. Oh, awkward. Kind of gets blocked out by his teammate. Does manage to find the frag, and now the Deagle's going to push forward, but straight into that AK. The worst possible weapon. It looks like they might just be able to get through this on the Hellraisers side of things. 8 HP, 13 HP. Shiro with a bit of an off angle. Does find 1. But quickly dealt with. Nafany. Yeah, not long for this world either. Still, though, finding a couple kills there. Pretty decent. Certainly could have been more. Hellraisers definitely will be counting their lucky stars. They have a player survive on 1 HP, and Flarich, I believe, was on 30. So, definitely close, but in the end, of course, no cigar for that CT side.
Yeah, very little to nil damage on top of it all. Gonna give Hellraisers a comfy look into the first rifle. Also to note, that flash missed. I bet I'll correct that come the important rifle round when he could get punished for missing a flash like that. Those Gambit youngsters will just group up. Look to take it towards ramp. They actually do run over Jalem as Flare and Hobbit stand tall. The AK in Hobbit's hands. It would find 1 more. JR is going to come in and clean house. And I imagine he's going to go try and grab that AK. So, Hellraisers lose 1 no matter what, though. Or no, excuse me. They had 2 MAC-10s and 3 AKs. So, they're going to get all retrieved. It's just going to take another kill from Gambit to really send home one of these AKs. But it seems like Hellraisers with tons of time, Scriv, understanding the importance of the situation. Just going to kind of waltz around and get out of danger.
Decent Molotovs, keeping them at bay. Oh, it's a nice nade onto Inters as well. A slightly unorthodox approach from Hellraisers, I suppose. It's a decent round to pull out something a bit different. Maybe because they do have a lack of smokes, they go for the mollies instead. Trying to find a little bit of something here, these remaining USPs. The bomb's gone down. The round's not going to happen, bar something absolutely insane. But damage still possible. Flarich on 27 HP. Somewhat isolated here as well if they swing into the right angle. So that smoke dissipates particularly. It's going to become a little easier, but he realizes that, starts to drop back and just letting those healthier players take the fights instead. Not risking anything. I quite like that actually as an individual decision. Pretty smart. Hellraisers, though, move up to 3. I feel even losing a couple there is somewhat costly, or certainly more costly than it should have been. This, though, of course, is where GAMBIT youngsters will get the buy together. So, looking to try and find themselves this first rifle round. Pretty decent buy across the board. Certainly is doable here. No kit, but other than that, I think we're fairly happy if you are a GAMBIT youngsters fan.
I feel like there's a lot of them, Scriv. They've gained quite a few. Maybe even some more with the addition of Hobbit. Who knows? But whenever Shiro has up in hand, those fans are smiling. Good nade exchange for the mollies. That gained some control, but look at Inters and his angle. Behind the smoke, it doesn't go flush enough. It's actually going to get fired down by Flarich. And there's one more player on the side. It's Axile, but just so many angles for him to deal with. The rotator smoked off in Shiro, but he has a gap to work with. And Axile continuing to stand on his head to find 2. And I think Shiro knows no one's crossed yet.
2 versus 2 as that bomb goes down. The retake in full flow, but they're on opposite sides of the B site. Definitely not ideal here, and may well just come down to, well, I suppose a decently placed flashbang or getting caught off. Shiro with the quick reaction onto Flarich. Brings it down to 1, but Kalinka, a nice reposition, catches him completely off guard with that. Hellraiser's going to move up to 4. It does come close, but I really like that 1 versus 2. Really well done from Kalinka. And he will bring them into that 4th round. Pretty decent results so far for Hellraisers to keep this rolling. And yeah, GAMBIT youngsters early pause, not really pulling any punches here. You know, we do see some of these teams get off to a poor start in their best of 1 scenario and then just kind of forget about it. Let's move to the best of 3 and go for the run back. Whereas GAMBIT youngsters, of course, always dialed in, always playing to win.
Yeah, rarely do you see them just kind of coasting. Always a type of team who's pushing the boundaries, going for more, and really making you earn your rounds. And so far, that is the case. They've gone for some aggressive plays. They've tried some cheeky plays around smokes, but Hellraisers, they seem the wiser. Holding those angles, flash peeking into those angles. They've stayed grouped relatively well and used utility to flush out GAMBIT. That round with the fire, the way they use their smokes, with their flashbangs and communication, seemingly working well thus far. GAMBIT youngsters gonna go for some armor and pistols. Max loss has been achieved, but good on Hellraisers to not only pick up pistol, but get that bonus round with that Mac 10 across the board and right into AKs. They've bested Shiro's up once, and they're gonna hopefully slip into that 5-0 category, and then they're gonna be feeling really good. So far, Scriv. And I do agree with your point you made earlier. This Hellraisers lineup, from what, even like 2 months ago to now, I feel like it's nearly a night and day difference.
Absolutely. Like the nades to start off, a decent idea, right? Reading into a round like this where GAMBIT youngsters not going to have as much cash, they may well go for a rush. And it is a smart idea. Unfortunately, no one around. But nonetheless. This boost as well can be deadly. The timing will be everything. Not going for it too early. I think they're just waiting for the utility to come in. It doesn't quite work out. They are spotted and they have to get off it. Trying to go for a swing. Trying to find something here on these pistols, of course. looking to gamble stack as they already have 4 players in. And a quick rotation from Axile is certainly possible. Inters, great angle. Oh, Jalen ready for it, though. And that will be the advantage that Hellraisers needs. Any more for any more, as the Deagles are looking to get aggressive here on that CT side, trying to take the fight to their opponents. Come so close onto JR, but not quite able to convert. Hobbit, though, that frag going to make a big difference. The flank coming in from behind. JR still standing here. Again, seems to be the low HP master. This is certainly doable for Axile, Keith. Look at these HP bars. If he gets into a decent position, could indeed upset the apple cart of Hellraisers, but at the moment, the utility is strong. It will keep them at bay.
You know he's going to just bide his time. It's going to be so hard for him to even get a fair fight, let alone 2 others on top of that. So he values his money, Scriv. Doesn't take any damage, which means he gets that cheap head armor upgrade. And he is just going to be playing for those exits, maybe trying to catch a couple players while they escape in a ramp. I do like this, but the issue with it, Vertigo, is so clear cut, right? Either you're saving or you're playing for exits. Like, there's nowhere else you can really be. So I think Hellraiser is going to be expecting this. They'll clear for him. He's given the first. The second will follow. He'll grab the AK. Jalen will live, and Axel gets out with an AK. Hey, you know what? Damage and escaping with an AK there is pretty prime. Breaking this bank of Hellraiser somewhat early. I mean, breaking, I use that word very lightly, I suppose, in this situation. Just getting a few extra dollars out than what could have been put into this round. So good turnaround from Axel. Op out from Shiro. Same from JR. And this is where we go, okay, what did that pause really gain you for the Gambit youngster side, right? Where's this change going to come from?
Whatever it is, it's got to come quick. It really is starting to spiral out of control here on this CT side of things. We have seen many games start like this and many games kind of end with this discrepancy of rounds. So number 6, pretty damn important for the CTs. And I think Hellraisers are looking to perhaps find themselves a bit of vengeance. Nafany, though, getting away with 2 there. I figured surely he gets traded. This round has fallen apart quick. 5-on-2 in the first 30 seconds, make it a 5-on-1. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's certainly one way of sending a statement on the Gambit youngsters' end. I think just, well, not even winning 1v1s. So we see 2v1s coming in, and both Nafany and Axel going to find it. Nafany getting a 3k. Flarich, unfortunately, caught admiring his knife. And, yeah, I guess that's one way of doing it. Aggression and just taking the fights. Gambit youngsters going, come on, dude, we can better these guys. Easy.
Yeah, that's a show of force, right? Nafany taking that fight down ramp. I was going to mention it's got to be ramp aggression from Gambit youngsters. It's really the only true pressure point on this map if you really want to push and take some aggressive fights. Mid is awkward. T's beat you there. The B side of things, just simpler times to just post up and play around the stairs instead of pushing. And it just takes 1 round to send Hellraisers down to a bit of a force. Inter's only getting 1 there. Maybe not good enough, but good thing Shiro's here to back his boys up. The nade, unable to deal damage as Flarich is able to grab a gun on the entry here. Axile gonna have to pivot and play well, and he just doesn't. He gets overwhelmed. And things get interesting again very quickly.
Once again, wild stuff here. Oh, Nafany, great Molotov to just deny them that room. Off on the ledge. They are locked out, though. These smokes really in the way. They're all coming in from the same kind of angle as well. So they just have to wait for it to dissipate. Great headshot angle from Flarich, but neither player able to find the other. Little awkward there. Nafany gets it second time around. Problem, cannot find a single frag. It's all going to be onto Jalen. 1 versus 3. Nice swing onto the second, but Shiro taking him down through the smoke. Second round in, just about for Gambit youngsters. Awfully close. They've really built up some quick cash with that flawless round in the previous, so should be okay in terms of the buy. Meanwhile, on that T side, not so much. Of course, Hellcase feels like we're here a little quick so far in the best of 1, but their continued support does not go amiss. Malta V15, the 2 codes for you. You get some extra cash and a 15% refill bonus. Make sure you go check them out.
Well, Gambit youngsters, we say that pause needed to net them something. There had to be some sort of change. And you can kind of feel it in the way this game's going, right? The momentum shift is kind of apparent. They're starting to wake up, starting to win those duels. Good movement from Kalinka. He'll slowly move forward while his teammate will bait for him. But I think in doing so, it might have been a bit of a tell for Axile and Co. While Hobbit will fight for that ramp control, Kalinka's going to do his best to isolate a fight, and he may get the one he wants against Inters. But just the elevation change was slightly too much for him. Problem, can't land the deagle shot, and I think this round is just going to slip into the category of over really quick.
Ooh,
goodbye.
Spoke too soon, sir.
I'm sorry, Axile.
Well, you know, the classic caster's curse. Seems all good, though. They're going to be able to recover it here. Maybe I've just done the same. Who knows? Problem's got a nice little angle. He's low HP, but with only his head showing, there is potential. Nafany, though, has the drop on him and will take him down. So Gambit youngsters very quickly here turning things around. Up to 3, it feels within a few minutes, right? You know, it's really not been long, drawn-out rounds. HELLRAISERS playing it fast to give them their first. The second as well, awfully fast, although a bit closer. And, of course, that one a throwaway. So here we go into a key round for HELLRAISERS. The loss bonus is going to be stacking up. Bomb plants have been somewhat inconsistent, so every time they buy, it's all the way into the bottom of their bank account. We'll see whether they're able to do one better and perhaps get the bomb down in this round and hopefully do some damage as well. Big nades coming in. Molly from Hobbit. Oh, his timing is great, but Jalem's just too quick. Nafany trades him at the very least. However, a 1-for-1 to open up the round is really going to work out for HELLRAISERS.
Man, bombs down. They're unsure about what's going on. Right? They don't know what's going on towards mid. Could they be in ladder? Could they be pushed up? Now a risk has to be taken from Problem, right? He has to go up this ladder. They need some other form of control. A ramp has been completely iced out. Nothing they're going to find there. The shift comes in towards middle now. And Shiro, who else plays this rotator position better on Vertigo than Shiro with the op? He'd be assertive when he wants towards a ramp. And then the rotator in clutch moments. He'll use his utility to try to shut them down and slow them down in 40 seconds. But Problem's going up. And the question is, will Shiro send him down? And they're going to have to reboost one more time. Why do I think a Shiro flick is in order? Well, Problem lets them know. And they're just going to fall off it now. So they set a little bit of control. And what does that prompt? It prompts Axile to just take a fight.
Absolutely. And maybe a few more to come for the CT side as well. Axile hidden away at back 90 here. The cover of the pillar, of course, really going to pay dividends. Goes for the swing. Only good for 1, but of course already picking up another frag earlier on. So it's all good. Still man advantage here for the CT side, and they will begin to encroach on the plant. Flaric gets it down, but it costs him his life. And Gambit youngsters move up to 4. Bare minimum of 3, earning cash. Building up bank. HELLRAISERS, though, able to just about stay alive. Of course, that loss bonus not quite maxed in that round, so the bomb plant really helps them out. However, if anything, it puts them in a tough decision. It looks like they're just gonna, well, yeah, see what I mean? See what I mean? JR just buys a deagle, whereas Kalinka goes, bro, I got loads of cash. What are you talking about? So I think there's a little bit of crossed wires here on the HELLRAISERS side.
Well, we've seen the adaptation from Gambit, right? We've seen them be the shift in the pace of play and the feel of the game. And now HELLRAISERS the one who have a decision to make, right? They're kind of caught in between an interesting decision. Do we pressure a ramp and fight against those 3 Gambit youngsters players, right? Which includes the Shiro and a couple rifles getting somewhat aggressive and playing the angles. Do we force a smoke? Do we wait out the smoke? Then just take an interesting flash? Like, do we take it quick? Or do we work other parts of the map? Well, Axile is shutting us down. Gambit youngsters have shown if there's no A-ramp pressure, they're willing to play 2 towards B. So I think HELLRAISERS has to be very decisive in the decision-making coming forward. and really just take one of these sites, take it by storm, shift things up, and then go right back into their default and try to win that opening pick.
The million-dollar question, sir. Quieter start to this one. You can definitely see that Hellraisers have lost some of that early confidence that they had, storming into bomb sites in the first 6 or 7 rounds. Whereas now, a bit slower. You see somewhat of a fake attempt coming over, and well, it will be successful. Inter's not expecting them up close and personal. Axile gets away with absolute murder for that second. Bringing it down to an even situation, though. Finding that second frag is massive here for the CT side, is massive for the retake potential. Missed shot from Shiro. They're waiting on the flank here. Smoked off pretty heavily on this CT side. Flarich in the best spot to deal with this. Nafany has no idea. And unfortunately, the peak not strong enough. Hobbit trying his best. And his best looks pretty damn good. It's all going to be onto Flarich now in the clutch situation. He seemed to have made the round for them, and he's going to have to continue to make the round. Brings it down to a one-on-one, playing the time here. Shiro spotted, and unfortunately can't land it. Shiro going to look to try and close the gap. He's making so much noise, and well, there's just no time. Flarich does go down. There's that at the very least. It will be a costly round, but Hellraisers hold on to their lead.
There we go. Decisive. Take a site, trade out, play for the round win. And that's exactly what happens, Hellraisers. Right at the right time, they make a decisive decision. Even going into a site with 2 players there, Axile's able to double in. But if his teammate was able to get one on top of Axile's double, that round would have went a different way. But Hellraisers maintain. Op from JAR once again. AK is out, lacking a little bit of utility on the bottom 3 players. And right back into the default, as I thought they would, Scriv. But they need to win this exact fight. They can't allow Nafany to get out. It's where GAMBIT have been thriving, right? Win those opening duels, and then just close the vice. And that's exactly what Shiro and Co are doing towards B.
Bouncing up pretty fast there, JR, looking to play contact here. Need to find a return frag on this Hellraisers side of things and deny the theory that last round was just a fluke. Nothing presenting itself just yet. Meanwhile, I really do like this setup in terms of that aggression on B, meaning they only need 1 player over there for now. Inter's holding middle. Nice and safe. Flarich, oh, coming his way, and there it is. The shoulder peek is perfect. This time, Axile not going to get caught off by that flank at all. So really good stuff from him. The swing coming in. Need to find that trade a bit cleaner, perhaps. Shiro is in to help, however. So it's all down to a 1-on-3. Really could have turned the round in the favor of Hellraisers, or at the very least make it look doable. But now with 20 seconds, not so much, right? No control into a site. Problem has nowhere to go. Will end up going down. GAMBIT youngsters prove the theory to be true. It was a bit of a fluke from Hellraisers in the previous. GAMBIT youngsters right back to where they were, looking to continue this string, looking to continue the tear, and of course, gain that lead moving into the second half.
Yeah, it's kind of just how Counter-Strike works at times, right? You make a decision as a T side. We're going to go to the site. We're going to brawl it out. And if you happen to get the round, awesome. But then it doesn't necessarily always solve the issue of your defaults failing, right? Or unable to get the opening pick to gain map control. It never really solves those issues. Sure, it gets you around on the board, but it doesn't change the core problems that you've been facing throughout your default. GAMBIT youngsters, if they get up to 8 rounds on the CT side, that's a really good CT side score. So Hellraisers, after this transition round, really have to come out swinging again. I really think they can win those A-ramp fights, because this B side, they've just been getting traded out even when they have those decisive moments. Is this round should just be tossed to the wayside. But yeah, it just, again, the rounds like that are not a solution, but I do feel like at some point they just gotta go ahead and just bite the bullet and fight A-ramp, as much as a pain as it is.
Yeah, I think so, right? That's clean from Axile, that is, and clean from Inters as well. But, yeah. I agree. They definitely seem to have come in with a bit of a transparent playbook, Works out initially. Pistol can be kind of random, as we always say, right? Gives them a good advantage, but then they look good in those rifle rounds. Pretty good, actually. Just not able to keep it going, not able to keep it original and adapt and change in the same way that Gambit youngsters have. So, and I think that is something that this Hellraiser side actually struggles with in a big way, is adaptation. Keeping things fresh, maybe even ahead of the pack, you know, creating their own game and reinventing their game. Ice tag does come through there for JR. He doesn't quite find the frag, but certainly scaring Nafany off. Meanwhile, flash through the smoke. Nafany gonna be denied. That's pretty big. JR's left on 7 HP. Again, he has been damn lucky so far in this game, Keith, but it's, for the first time in a while, an advantage for Hellraisers.
Well, there we go. Yeah, first time in a while. Opening fight 1. A ramp control gained. It's what we wanted. It's what we needed. But Shiro's given room. He's grabbing this AK and backing up. He's dropping that op. He wants to become a rifler in this round. Facilitates him to allow to fight and swing. Axile doing just that, and he's gonna double in right when Hellraisers find success. Scriv, they just scatter. One player goes back for the bomb. The other is still holding flank. Hellraisers just needed a group on the back of that success. Instead, they give time for Gambit youngsters to group, Shiro to find a pick. And here we are with Shiro with his picked up AK. Flash will miss. He is ready. The molly will land. He even has support in a second rotator, Scriv. Oh, man.
Oh, Kalinka. That headshot. So clean. He does get taken down, though. That trade, all important. It's going to be down to Flarich. They look to close the gap here. He just about gets the AK out, but not fast enough to find that first frag. Gambit youngsters somehow able to pull it back. I say somehow. A lot of it comes down to this man, Axile, finding those clean trades, as well as the untraded frag, of course, to start things off. 3k in for him. Gambit youngsters able to just about hold on to the lead. It was a rough start, and the first time they had, as we said, been tested for a while, but there it is. Look at that beautiful 2k to open up. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And I think that's kind of what I was talking about, Keith. The adaptability of Gambit youngsters, even within rounds, is just so effective.
That mid round was nuts. Like, actually nuts. For Shiro to drop his op, grab the AK, and for them to aggress A ramp, retake control, and Hellraisers had to scatter. I mean, that's some tier 1 stuff. That's some mid rounding that teams dream of. It's decisive, it's aggressive, and it's exactly what the situation called for, Scriv. I'm always impressed when Gambit youngsters break out a strong, decisive mid-round. As JR starts to burn from his own molly that fell under the scaffolding, funny enough. But he's okay. The smoke will save him. But again, impressive things from Gambit youngsters. They started really well for Hellraisers. But since then, Gambit have just kind of put their foot down.
I think this is the thing, right? It's like, okay, scary, aggressive, looking good, using their individuals. All right, nice. And then Gambit youngsters go, all right, let me crunch the numbers. Let's have a timeout. Let's talk about this. This is how we counter it. Maybe we play them at their own game. That's what they did in that first round that they won. And then Hellraisers go, just try it again. I don't know. You know, they take a pause and like just panic and keep bashing their heads against it. Not quite sure what's happened here though, Keith. The B bomb site appears to be completely open. I guess they're making moves in towards middle and whatnot, and they're not too far away, and certainly 5-on-5 retake is possible for the CT side, but with no clear advantage, it's very hard to tell. Time going to be working against them as well. We have this flank over on A coming in from the T's meanwhile, so everything is on a timer for Gambit youngsters. They will look back for that flank indeed, but he's already found 2. It doesn't even matter at this point. They're beginning to push forwards on the T side as well. He and Kalinka doing so much damage, all onto Axile. And, well, he realizes he has no time. Will eventually go down as well. Interesting stuff from Gambit youngsters. Maybe a lapse in judgment. Maybe not respecting the fact that Hellraisers could actually call a rush. All the same, they let that one slip. Sort of fumbling through that round.
Yeah, that one was one of the more messy rounds of the half, I think it's safe to say. But we've made it to the 15th. All square, which is really good for Gambit youngsters, considering I think they started 5-0. And on a map that is T-sided, statistically speaking. Oh, I liked that scoreboard. I was going to speak about it for a moment, but it's gone, Scriv. They've ripped it away, and my emotions don't know what to do.
It's okay. It'll be back.
Thank you.
And let me introduce you to this wonderful website called Half-Life Television. Sorry, that was...
I've only seen 1/3 of it.
Got him.
Or should I say 2/3? That makes more sense, because then the third isn't... Anyway.
I think I know what your head was getting at, but the words didn't come out right.
Yeah, words did not work, but that's okay. Exile's bullets will. Finds the headshot. And now it is just 3 members remaining of Hellraisers. You just look at the control they have. They do not know if anyone's scaffolding. They don't know if short's clear. Could there be someone sandbag? I don't know. We have a molly, sure, but do we need to use it? Can we use it? I don't know. What's going on? It's 3v5. Hellraisers are not even grouping. This is just kind of one of those rounds I talk about where someone needs to step up and find an individual performance, and it just hasn't been happening. Hellraisers look like this round is just going to give Gambit that 8 I mentioned that they wanted to avoid oh so desperately.
Yeah, looking good here to seal the deal. Down goes Problem, and down goes Flarich, the only one to find a frag for Hellraisers in that round. So Gambit Youngsters, I think 8 rounds on the CT side, definitely workable. Moving into their T end, it's generally where we expect Vertigo to be stronger. And also I feel Gambit Youngsters... Oh, yeah, I mean, 22 kills from Axel just sort of sums it up. I was going to say individually will be a bit stronger and going to bring the heat to Hellraisers, which they may not be able to deal with. Axel particularly is perhaps looking to have a pretty stellar performance. It already is. It already is. I feel he's done enough work for the squad on that CT side. If you can translate this onto the T end of things, then you really do worry for Hellraisers. And as you can see, the odds... looking good for Gambit Youngsters still, despite the fact that it ends up being close. So loot bet favoring this T side for sure.
Yeah, rightfully so, right? The statistics back it up. The experience speaks for itself. We're gonna have to see a whole new level of Hellraisers with that mid-rounding of Gambit. But the first kill pick potential on top of that, so it's gonna be hard to reproduce. The T-Pistol's a Gambit, full A-ramp control. Yeah, they're going for an execute here, Scriv. Can Hellraisers hang on? A lot of weight on JR's shoulders, and he is just not up to the task.
Yeah, not looking too good. We'll see the bomb go down here. And Hobbit. Dangerous move, of course, but he's smooth, and that angle is so tough to deal with, especially on the pistol round. They're trying to spot the edge of him, but it's just not going to happen. They swing out here. The T's, okay, actually going to end up losing the advantage as all the headshots are landing, and out of nowhere, Hellraisers pull that back.
Wow. Go on, Flarich. Right. Exactly when they needed someone, he's the man. And that is back-to-back pistol wins. So if they lose this game, Scriv, calling it now, it's purely based on pistol or on rifle rounds, excuse me. Right? Pistol secures you in theory. Thus far, it secured you 3 rounds in the first half. And it's looking like it's going to secure you 2 here in the second. Quick math, that's a total of 5 freebie rounds. Hellraisers need to start winning some rifles to really make that count for anything.
Oh, burst coming in, and JR, he's caught rotating nades. Oh, that is rough to watch. Jalem is here to help out, though. Finding the advantage for Hellraisers, but that is always a dangerous one when you're playing those close range angles, especially. I feel if he, throws the molly, the MP9, not too rough on the come out, and of course you can just panic spray with it and everything and be okay, but getting the nade out after the fact is the problem. Any damage is good damage in a round like this, as we always say. The smoke coming in, an attempt will be made here for the bomb plant. They are going to hunt it down. Ooh, running out of ammo. The knife is a worthwhile reward for Jalen, but all the same, getting the bomb down for Gambit youngsters really makes life easier in the next round. That's somewhat hilarious.
Out here getting the ace with the knife is the final. Like, really? I can't remember the last time I saw someone ace and have a knife a part of it. It's been a while. Oh, so close. It's even the left slash. But yeah, that plant has all the impact. See how there's money left over for Gambit after that. And JR up in hand, Shiro. No, sir. And I think I want everyone at home to kind of pay attention to the difference in how Gambit youngsters work a ramp control and their default in general. HELLRAISERS, timid, losing opening fights at times. When pressured at A ramp, they didn't really have a fallback plan and kind of just gambled in the 50-50 fight towards B. Watch how Gambit kind of just play this and in which the style in which they group up and take map control. It's just an interesting little different look.
No kills just yet, Keith, but my goodness, it is certainly possible here. Really could swing out of control in a matter of moments. And there it is, the first moment to come in. Nafany going to drop. Shiro finding the frag. I thought it was Hobbit, but no. Shiro going to get it into a 4-on-4. Still anybody's game here. Low HP bars across the board continue to plague both sides. But with 50 seconds left, there is room for error. There certainly is. And there's room for recovery. But we'll see. Moving in towards B here. HELLRAISERS ready and posted. 2 players, both very healthy. So certainly going to be tough for Gambit youngsters to get through. They still have this Molotov available. And there it goes. Oh my goodness. Axile is so quick. So crisp. They know Kalinka's at back 90. They molly him out. Hobbit to finish him off. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Shiro chiming in at the perfect time. Axel gets the easy one onto Flarich, but my god, that opening headshot from him is insane. Yeah, you're going to need a pause after that one. You certainly need to cool down, because that's a monitor punch if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that's guys, I'm going to go grab water and restart my game. I think I'm lagging because I don't know what happened. I just died.
Go off and scream into a pillow for a second, like, jeez.
Yeah, you don't want to be punching any walls, but screaming into a pillow seems like a good option. And I think that entire round, I don't know about you, Scriv, but the feel from Gambit's T side to HELLRAISER's T side is just a night and day. 2 different things. The way they fought for ramp control, traded out, regrouped, had that lurk in mid, were very decisive in their B hits. It just seems more together. And I think if HELLRAISERS clean that up, they could be equally as good on this map. But I think the difference is shown even just in that round alone.
Absolute monsters, dude. And they're angry. Speed coming in here. JR going to go charging through the smoke off the back of the flashbang. Shiro not ready for it. They do have Nafany on the other side of the smoke. So as he looks to exit, going to be an easy one, right? He's looking to follow him, see if anybody else shows, but not going to be the case. And I feel that 1-for-1 certainly will benefit the ramp control. They thought they had it. They thought there was maybe just one guy and, you know, maybe it's a B play. They very quickly, as you can see on the minimap, start to move across towards B. But no, it's actually A, or is it? We're not really sure, you know, so it ends up confusing the CTs, if nothing else. Really not the perfect start that they were thinking it was. Meanwhile, Kalinka, edging forward, spots the backside, might be able to get in behind. He's got to check ramp. Inter's looking the wrong way. So Kalinka has definitely snuck in, and he will sneak out initially. Nafany trades him, though. There are T's all over the place. It's so hard to keep up with here if you're HELLRAISERS. 3-on-3 coming through. The rotations are in, but so much utility to keep them at bay, and they themselves don't really have the retake nades or anything of the sort. So really not looking good here for HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, this is going to be a risky attempt. They're going to go. What a flash. But Hobbit not blind at all. The double for your boy. And it seems like Flarich is just going to back on out, take that FAMAS, take that Clarion into the next round. Gambit youngsters. I mean, HELLRAISERS give them a good run for their money. But 2 alive, 10th round secured. And HELLRAISERS are going to have to save, try to maybe set Flare up for some sort of success, but it is simply just a FAMAS.
Certainly going to need more. It's a weak start at best to this CT side. They are keeping it close, are keeping it even, but the money never really got off the ground. So GAMBIT Youngs have got a very good opportunity to keep them under the cosh, as I say. Make sure they are indeed feeling the financial burn. I like this, though. Four-man push? Yeah, it is. A four-man push forwards. Down the stairs. Axel watching for it, but he might get a nasty surprise that he's not ready for. Great little setup with the pistols going in first. The automatic weaponry behind it. He does get two, but eventually dealt with. However, so much info for him to work with. I don't know. I feel the T's react by moving towards A, perhaps. But it looks like instead they're trying to take the fight to the CTs. And that could be somewhat dangerous. This FAMAS still in play. Still around. And really could be deadly. Oh, Kalinka's like in a distractionary spot. So maybe a well-timed flashbang could end things. But no, not going to be the case. Kalinka lucky to get one. And there are still two left on this B-bomb site, quickly being dealt with. JR on his P2K. They've got to get him down because look how low they are. Oh, goodness. All on to Shiro, and he gets tagged up even more. JR takes down 3 with a P2K. Can you believe it? Because I certainly can't. What has happened? Oh my goodness. That is just watching it again. Nothing but a P2K. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. They still got money on this T side, though. They're going to come back with a vengeance, and you know it. Great positioning from Nafany. Able to find the first. And he can escape as well. 5-on-4 very quickly in favor of GAMBIT Youngsters. They are so angry, and you know... it's like you can either get tilted and blame each other and be like, oh my god, how do we not win that? Or you can be like, you know what? Screw these guys. We're just going to run at them. Hold W. Don't stop. And it works brilliantly for the first pick. Nice response from Kalinka to get aggressive in mid, though. Oh, Flourish caught with nade in hand. That is not ideal. Looking good here for GAMBIT Youngsters as they are on a tear. They are honestly back with the vendetta into this round. My goodness gracious. It's one for the highlight reel, it seems, unfortunately for JR. The overall impact has been somewhat nullified as the T side will once again destroy their economy and start off the victory train, it seems like.
Kills on entries on entries from GAMBIT that round, Scriv. Right when it seems like they're going to be defeated and maybe give up a couple, they run it back twofold. And, I mean, if you're Kalinka, what do? You're in such a weird spot, really trying to save. Flash will miss, and Shiro claims it. 11 for GAMBIT Youngsters. I mean, look at the money for HELLRAISERS. Their loss bonus is just non-existent. What can you do? I mean, the hero up on JR, right? It's a double save situation anyhow. They're buying and putting a lot of faith in JR to come up clutch here. I know he has the talent. It's just, can the pistols really facilitate success around it? Kalinka gets spotted and called out. GAMBIT Youngsters may even just elect to fall back and collapse on this. But I mean, just look how passive they're playing. They are not going to give HELLRAISERS the chance.
Absolutely not, sir. Early fights coming in. Through the smokes. Nothing really showing itself here. Hellraiser's looking solid down in the dumps. Solid lead down in the dumps, I should say. Jalen, though. Nice little 1D coming through from him. Unable to back away. That's not bad. So that leaves a rifle on the floor that they might be able to retrieve at a later date. Of course, armor on everybody here. And they have the license to get aggressive. Kalinka is in between all four of them. That is a messy fight, though. Doesn't find the 1D somehow. Going to be kicking himself. He doesn't come away with 2 there. At the very least, information is gained. Great nade from Hobbit. And back into a 3-on-3. JR here with the AWP. Smoke needs to be put down, or at the very least, a flash over the top. They've got to be careful moving forwards. They do somewhat know it. Oh, the angle not quite covered, but it's all good. It's such a tight one. He doesn't get away with it. No one else being spotted. Great little up angle, whatever you want to call it, over there towards the hazard sign. Retake in full flow, Keith. This is... I don't know if it's doable. I think the AK and the AWP want to save, whereas Flarich wants to go for it. And with Flarich going down, surely your decision is now made. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
keep
not
pushing
sure
in,
about that.
though.
Yeah, that's a little much. That's a little much. Definitely was exit stage left territory. I'm not sure why they were willing to lose that AK, right? You have no kit. You have no utility. You have no stance, right? If you had B stairs already and you cleared maybe close CT and you knew there was no lurk, or like there's so much that can go wrong. So just an interesting overstep there, right? Because you have the AK op in this round. There's a good chance you get the opening pick, your pistols push for control, get that rifle, and you never know where it can go. But now with just the op again, it's you're running back the exact same round. You're playing it back, and this could be 13 to Gambit. Would have been a double save anyhow, I suppose. So this round was going to be a save even if they got the AK out. And it's Gambit youngsters again to just play a little more standard, a little more safe in their default. Knowing the op got saved, but at the same time, knowing they're mainly peeking into pistols.
JR has been somewhat of a beast, though. He has had that crazy round on the P2K. His overall consistent impact maybe not been there, though. And this looks like another round he will be shut out from. Gonna try and stick around, though. They're really not giving him anything. Of course, forcing him back. Smokes allow them to get in towards the site. And then they're just going to chill. Bomb goes down. Not getting too giddy. Not taking any wide swings. The Gambit youngsters that we know. Discipline, of course, is sky high for this squad. They take down the flanker. And that's the only frag. They really are not pushing in. Really not getting ahead of themselves at all.
Well, this is it. JR's had that op for a while, and I mean, he's had the op for 3 rounds, Griv, not a single kill. I think that's just a tribute to Gambit's positioning and utility usage on these rounds. Like, JR, even when he has to make a play and he must be the assertive one, nothing. Smoked out, flashed out, sent back to the site, full on execute. He's going to be backing out because he doesn't want to be the first to die with the op. And just nothing is going Hellraiser's way. Textbook from the Gambit youngsters side. We've seen a couple different forms of early aggression, from mid to B stairs to, of course, the typical A ramp, but they have switched it up a few times, and it has left Hellraisers wondering really what they should do. Start of this round, they're starved for information. They're still throwing mollies towards A ramp because they don't know Kalinka's in for a world of hurt.
Oh, takes the shoulder peek, and thank goodness he did. Able to survive and find a frag even. A few more maybe. They've got to deal with him quickly here. Enters, crab spraying in. Will eventually be successful. They are hit quickly on the rotation. Dealt with easily. Oh, goodness. Again, the crispness here from Gambit Youngsters cannot be reiterated enough. JR seems all too familiar with this position. Looking to save once again. Gambit Youngsters will move up to 14. And this T side, absolutely inimitable. So good from them. And we'll see whether it continues throughout the rest of the day, because it looks like they'll be moving into the upper bracket.
Looking like it. JR. I mean, Scriv, look at his kill count. 5th round in a row with the op, I think. Like, he hasn't been able to get aggressive. His teammates and the other team haven't allowed him to find a pick towards mid, B, or A ramp. I mean, Gambit are dancing around JR. And he's got to be so mad. Like, fist clenched mad. It's wild to watch and to think that he's had it up for 5 rounds in a row and hasn't found a single kill. It's going to be troublesome. Gambit Youngsters, I mean, look at the buy they're up against. They're looking pretty damn good. And it's going to take a big round for them to step up, Scriv.
Kalinka, same angle as the last round. It did work for one. He came close to getting a couple, to be fair. And it seems kind of deja vu. They've got different weapons on the CT end, but the positioning, the approach, very similar here towards mid. Will they expect Kalinka to take the same angle again? That's the real question. Well, he gets mollied out, able to push forwards and find one. The second escapes him as a blind hobbit just, you know, stumbles forward, somehow still alive. Great flash through the smoke for him to work with, and the double spray from Hobbit. That is huge. I would say it turns the round in their favor, but it already was. They've managed to push into B regardless of the fact. It's just flashy stuff, isn't it, from the in-game leader, the new addition to Gambit Youngsters. Absolute beast with the 3K in this one. Jalen is position known, does manage to find one. What do you do here? You might as well, right? Hail Mary. 1-on-3, just not going to happen for him. Up to 15. Gambit Youngsters absolutely unstoppable. This freight train is showing no signs of slowing down. It is just wiping HELLRAISERS out.
What is that from Hobbit, right? Even looking back at the connectors, the rotator player just demolishing him. Wow. This T-side has been something else. And again, HELLRAISERS, keep in mind, they won 2 pistols. 5 of the rounds have come from pistol rounds, Scriv. And I think an eco win. So when rifles are out, when the stances seemingly are equal, when the rounds are the same, ops and rifles aplenty, it's still Gambit come out on top. Nathany, 3 HP, peeks on the reloading player, should have been dead to right. JR is nervous. Jalen is doubled in. Okay. That's one way to fight for a ramp control. There's no way they're going to expect JR to be there, and that is exactly the case. Hobbit's gone. And this should be... I mean, don't feel safe even saying this, but it's looking like HELLRAISERS have staved off defeat for 1 round, Scriv. But Axile's alive, and I mean,
yeah.
Do I ever count him out?
Is he on 30? Oh, he's 28. Close. Maybe you can make it 30 in this round, eh? And I think HELLRAISERS kind of playing that in their minds as well. And a bit of rigidity will set in, right? That. Oh, adaptation to not move. Jalen, though, going to take down Axile. That was the key frag, I think, to be honest with you. If they found that way in, found that opener. B-bomb site somewhat vulnerable. Scouts over there, right? So, really key one. The fact that he goes 1 for 1 is not the end of the world, and Inter's gonna go for it. He has no choice, and JR shoots him in the side of the head, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference anyway. HELLRAISERS will indeed secure the 11th round. They take down all the members. Money, no issue for Gambit Youngsters yet. It may become an issue. Trying to close this game out. Meanwhile, Hellraisers on the other side also kind of feeling the same. Only lose to one player. Pretty happy with that. So they're able to buy cleanly into this. No AWP still.
Yeah, that's... I mean, let's be fair, though. Hasn't really worked at all on the Hellraisers side. But I think you were more leaning towards the Gambit youngsters side and Shiro not having the op. It's interesting. But I feel like the pace in which they're playing, the defaults into the explodes, I guess it kind of just fits the style of this T side right now. Those Gambit youngsters look to just come towards B. That smoke on the stairs probably not as good as it seems. I think there might be a gap in there somewhere. This problem will play back 90. He has flare range. Playing that sight pillar. Things are about to get wild, Scriv.
Absolutely. Axile charging forwards, but straight into the hands of Problem. Retaining the man advantage just about. The flank coming through at the perfect time as well. Catching them all off guard. Hobbit is so low. No way he makes it out. Nafany also pretty damn low. Oh, JR to catch him off guard. So there you are. Hellraiser's finding some energy here towards the tail end. We would, of course, say, wow, this is really good. Momentum going into the next map. But best of one to open us up here. So nothing really to write home about. It's do or die. They've got to find the overtime or they get knocked down. It's as simple as that. And then their tournament life on the line. They have to make the run back. Always a challenge doing that. But we'll see. Buy still available for Gambit youngsters, Keith. The AWP out for Shiro. And still no AWP for that CT side.
It's out here on the T side, as you mentioned, though. It hasn't been working for Hellraisers. Maybe it'll work for Gambit youngsters this time around. And there you have it. Almost felt like a matter of time. The 1-2. Nafany Shiro cracked open that A ramp. And it is business as usual. Axel holding the flank. Kalinka did not stand a chance. As Flarich has to make a play, he feels obligated. The numbers kind of account and require him to do so. Can he double in? No. Hobbit will deny. And no matter what, it's all on the problem to keep Hellraisers in this. Good to find the first. He'll grab an AK. No, keep the M4 once his timing in the rotate. But I mean, this side is so hard to retake alone, let alone in a 3v3. But let's try a 1v3, Scriv.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit more doable. Unfortunately not. Axile, of course, ending things as he began them. The Destroyer of Worlds in that one. 31-16.